Fixed it that time, right? Good morning, guys. We made it to Friday. So I wanted to read a really good quote. A quote I learned when I was in CMT charting. It's just a great quote. A lot of people with high IQs are terrible investors because they got terrible temperaments. It's such a good quote. They say the best traders are the dumb traders. Well, what makes a dumb trader? Someone that's not emotional, right? They don't overanalyze every situation in their life. They're more just kind of focused on the logic part. And if that part doesn't make sense, that's when they scrutinize and get rowdy. So when we look at algorithms, for example, they are very consistent and they're very good. And the reason why is because they're not attached to emotions. They're not attached to how humans think. They're just attached to statistical values. So when you learn the algorithms, you develop a new way to control these emotions when you're trading. So this is something I thought I was thinking about this morning. And, a lot of people get really emotional in their trades to a point where they lose focus or they over position, right? Or they go all in. So that's just one thing that's always helped me is focusing on the algorithms and not myself, not my emotions. So not thinking about, oh, well, if I make all this money with this trade, I'm going to do this and this and this with it. More of just like completing the race, right? The race would be where the algorithms are telling me to go at that certain time. And then when I get to that level, leaving that race, not staying in the race. And in a way, sometimes our algorithms, we are out of the race, and then everyone else starts to get into the race. So we always find really early entries. We being the group or people that use the algorithms. So there's one thing that I'm working on branching out to. Instead of like creating an engagement and community, which I love helping people and talking to people and giving alerts when I can. But we do sell a product, and the algorithms is that product. So if you're looking to be an analyst, if you're looking to be, improve your server or a group of friends that you have, I would say try them out, do a month and see what it's about. It's $30 for the setup that I have right now, or you can do $15 a month. We're super cheap. So I've kept it cheap because it doesn't have to be super expensive, because you already have way too much going on with other bills and costs when it comes to trading to be, concerned about all these extra packages. It really puts a lot of pressure on your trades. And that's not what we're really trying to do. What we're really trying to do is we're trying to make a little bit of money and diversify that into a nice portfolio for longer term investments. So either that's through day trading, swing trading, options trading. and we move that money into a longer investment. Okay, it doesn't have to be actual stocks. It could be real estate or whatever you venture out. If something that it's in your comfort zone, you're going to invest into, right? But everything in the world, you need some kind of money to do it. So we either work a income-based job, 9 to 5, which is nothing wrong with it, but always let that be a stepping stone to the next level in your life. Don't let that be the end of your life, where you become institutionalized into that system and desperate for each paycheck. So, that's the cool thing with the algorithms is they can give you that peace of mind by developing a quicker strategy to look at things, so you can get into a trade and you don't have to be too concerned like you were before of the direction overall. And these videos that I'm posting are, I'm not going to lie, they help with the sales on the algorithms, sure. But they're also teaching how we need to be more patient with our trades. So it's one thing that I really push in my group. And the people that get it are super successful, are able to do this job full time. Not getting paid by another server owner to be an analyst. No, they get paid from trading. So, there is real success into this system. But all right, let's get back into what we're really here for, to see what the market's doing. It's been very interesting this week. I have to mention, my thoughts and prayers for all the individuals that lost, those soldiers, lost, good friends, family, to just a terrible crime that happened over there. It's terrible. It's atrocious. The whole way everything's being looked at is atrocious. It's almost criminal what this country's turning into, of how hard these men and women sweat and work hard to be prepared to fight for this country, and for this country to just turn their backs and laugh and joke about it. That's unacceptable. It needs to change. Something needs to change for real. And the markets are reacting to it. We're getting a little bit of reaction. Now, granted, looking at the algorithms, we are still overbought. And, that's just the way of life, when you get into an overbought situation, a higher situation where things need to settle down and calm down. So eventually we're going to crash. We have to if we're going to maintain growth in this economy. And it could be a really bad crash. But we have to set ourselves away from that fear and more into an opportunity to buy when there is that crash, to get into those longer term investments. So, turn you down. I can't hear nothing here. So when we talk about SPY, you look at SPY, and it's you can see how overbought it is, right? But it was more overbought if we look at the 5-minute time frame. It was more overbought up here in the upper bands, right? Right here was undersold. This is where you wanted to buy. This is where you want to sell. Okay? This is in between. This is where it decides if we're going to go up or down. When it crosses through here, that's usually a zone where you see a bigger reaction happen. We usually want to stay in these levels if we want to buy, and these levels when we want to sell. Okay? So very simple. And people that are, take notes right now, if you want to get this and you want to teach this to other people, that's pretty much the simplicity of the bands. Is you just have your upper that you're selling, your lower that you're buying. So SPY is hitting a little bit of resistance right now on the VWAP. 448 is our resistance, pretty much a heavy resistance actually. So we'll see if it wants to pop up. Maybe there'll be some more insight with these evacuations that are being successful and no more bombings, and maybe the market will react to a bullish reaction, if you will. But let's see if we're hitting any levels where we need to be concerned about. So I had some algorithms, Nessie was shooting off a lot of buys. So, and then there was that gap up that we saw this morning, or was that this morning? Or yeah, this morning. So let's just see if we're still holding a support. And I'm just going through these time frames, kind of looking to see if I see any like, correlated patterns or something. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Just seeing if I can find anything that looks like we might see another dip happen. So let's just say 446 is our support. That's what we're seeing over here. And our resistance is still about 448. That's our stronger resistance. And then the breakout would hit the 450 mark. Okay. So looking at our bands again, I think we could possibly see if we do break 446, 443, and if it really gets nasty, all the way back down to 438, and that could happen today. So be wary of that if you're playing any longs, or it could be a real sideways type of day too. It just really depends on what kind of reaction we're going to get this morning. VIX did go up. VIX had a nice little run yesterday, and now it had a little gap down because SPY gapped up, which is usually the case in the mornings. So we'll see. Again, if VIX wants to really drop, if it gets below, I would say 25.95, then we can really start seeing a reaction in the bullish side for us. But we'll see. It's kind of unsettling moments right now for this country. So we can't be too hasty in our decisions, especially today. So over 27.66, that would be your. Actually, let's go a little before that. Let's say 26.94. We get over 26.94, then our next spot is 26.70. So we can keep that in mind. We get above that, then we're going to see $30 again for VIX, right? So I will definitely have alerts set on this one just to make sure. Let me see if I see any more lines that are swooping down. Nope. Okay. So just a little bit of a support resistance through here on the wedges. But yeah, that 27 area needs to break if it's going to be bullish, which that means the market's going to be bearish. So that's what I'm looking at for VIX. Bitcoin dropped. And, I didn't mention it because I didn't want to get too much attention to it on the YouTube. We hit that 50K. We hit our 50K mark. Now, obviously, if it would have kept going, then we would have, made new levels that we wanted to analyze. But that was the current level that I was looking at for that time. Again, that's a conservative level, right? We're not saying, oh, it's going up to 65K or 70K. We're not talking about those levels right now. We're just talking about what we can see. So 47,711 is the resistance. We break over that, we could see 48K, and what that tells me is it's in a range. It's in the chop zone. So really, we need to get out of 48K and start making new highs. And so that's going to be the real trick right now with Bitcoin. And you can see that 48K is just a real nasty chop zone. But for the bull side, for the bear side, let's just say 197 needs to hold. If it breaks, we could see 46,000, which would be lower, or actually about the same as the previous drop at 46, about the same level actually. And if it drops that, we can see a gap on the deviations at 45,000. And if it drops that, we can see 44,000. So on this chart here, I have it all plotted out already for you guys. So obviously I had a little higher on my 50K mark. And right now we're sort of in that little resistance zone kind of trying to be a support. If it doesn't hold this, though, it's going to keep going down, and that's where we see 44K. So again, the 48,000 resistance, and then it might just be in chop zone over 49.5. Then we're going to see up to the 54, 55,000 range for Bitcoin. So let's check out MU. MU has been on the radar, at least in the news. So I want to just see what it looks like in the technical spectrum. So it did have a dip at 75, 77 yesterday. So that was a sell there. So there's the old resistance at 76.21. And we will go down here. So we're still bullish, right? But it's more just making sure we're not in a bad entry. That's always important. You don't want to be in a bad entry. So we're kind of like holding this little trend going through here with the VWAP. So if it wants to keep going up, then we see that 74.70, 74.66 might be the range. So we'd like to see something like this happen and not something like this happen, right? Because if it happens like this, then it could take profit up or try to hit 74 this morning and then go back down, and then maybe slowly start going back up, and then some theta or some burning on options expirations today, so people aren't making any money. So you might want to look at a longer term options play on this one if you're doing options or shares. You could definitely play shares on MU right now. I would say if it breaks below 68, let's give you a closer one, 72.20. So if it breaks 72.20, don't play either. If it holds, you can go ahead and throw some shares in there. Just know your resistance. You got some resistance at 75, and I would say like 73, 74 might be a little area of resistance as well. So just keep those numbers, 74, 75, and over that, then it's cruising after that. So those are levels I got for MU. Do I want to take a look at NVIDIA? We're kind of just taking a look at these semiconductors, and because that's the only thing hot on the sector right now. That and construction, real estate. So it looks like looking at this chart, it really got the wrong one. Okay, so we see on this chart that it already took some profit through here, up in the red bands, right? So if it wants to play this channel like it did right here in this deviation, if you guys can see that. So if it does want to take some profit right here, or wants to go back up again, have another breakout, let's just see what happens at 216, 216.13. So if 216.13 holds, then we can see the next level for 224, next level 228, all the way up to 230. So we could look at 230 option calls today if we hold around 217. If we don't, again, you want to bail out, or at least maybe get a cheaper buy-in at 200 or 205. I see 205 pretty decent level if you want to wait till then. Let me see if I have any good confirmations on a support. So we got a little bit of support here at 219, and then a holding above 221. We could see that 230. So those 230 calls could print today. We'll just have to see again what the rest of the market's going to want to do. So there's that 225, and then that low. We don't want to use that support. That's old. Maybe, like I said, like 205, 206. If it doesn't hold here. So, yep. Now let's see what else we want to look at. I don't know if Tesla is interesting right now or not. It had a gap up, but it's been sitting in the funky 720 range for a while. So really, it needs to break above 714, and then we can start seeing some new highs with Tesla, which I do see a 238 on the chart. So it is possible, and then we even see higher numbers if it breaks past the 238 zone. So we could just say around like a 240, then we could see those 780, and I'm sorry, what did I say? anyways, so 780, 800, etc. If it breaks below 695, same thing. So you can see there's really not much difference on the TA for Tesla. Did BABA do anything? So BABA had an island reversal yesterday, and that's unfortunate because I had to get out of my trade because it was holding pretty good, and then for whatever reason we decided to go down, and that's just how it is. You always have to have risk management in place because of the behavior of the market. It's completely random. It's completely random. So don't fall into those traps where you get into a good entry, and it goes up, 5% or 2%, whatever you're doing. Take the profit. Take the profit. Don't go up. Don't leave empty-handed. So for BABA, we have that support at 158. It's pretty critical. So if we break below 158, I was talking to another analyst in my group. He was saying about 145 is what he was looking at. So I see even lower now, actually. If this is a real downtrend that BABA's doing, then we could see lower 151, 138, 133. So that 135 zone, 140 zone might be an area that BABA might bounce if it rejects from here. But if it wants to keep going up, then we know resistance at 165, and then we have heavy resistance at 173. So if we break through those, then we can start seeing back into the 200s for BABA. So BABA is a kind of just wait and see what 160, this 159 range is going to do first for me, until if I want to get in some calls today. I don't think that. I think that's it. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how the market's going to react today with everything else that's going on in the world. But just I would say just be careful, and just take your time, be patient. You don't make money overnight. You don't need to. You don't need to have that mindset. So you guys have a good weekend. Thoughts and prayers again for those men and women overseas. And I'll see you guys on Monday.